Today I'm turning myself into Nico from Rio because I did Linda last year and I will never shut up about that, so we're gonna do it again. Welcome to day 30 of 31 Days of Halloween Costumes. Okay, for more context,
today I'm gonna be turning myself into the yellow bird from Rio, which if you don't know, his name is Nico. Last week I posted a video in the blue Rio bird costume and everybody loved it, but I know this one's going to top it by 1,000 times. Let's get into it.
Today I'm turning myself into the iconic Draculara because much like her, I've been pale, dramatic, and chronically over-accessorized since birth. Welcome to day 25 of 31 Days of Halloween Costumes. Okay, full transparent.
Today I'm turning myself into the iconic Draculara because much like her, I've been pale, dramatic, and chronically over-accessorized since birth. So let's get into it.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most persistent and frustrating patterns in modern TikTok culture, the long history of Natalie Reynolds copying other creators, escalating controversies, and repeating behavior that her audience has called out for years. At the center of this recent discussion is her alleged copying of Sophie Silva, but in reality, this is only the latest chapter in a much longer story. To understand why the backlash has grown so intensely, you first need to understand the kind of creator Natalie Reynolds actually is. Because Natalie didn't rise to fame through creativity, originality, or even consistency. Her growth came from something much more chaotic: controversy, shock value, and stunts that were designed to provoke reactions, positive or negative. It didn't matter, as long as people were talking about her. At first glance, Natalie looks like any other creator trying to build an audience: brightly colored thumbnails, short-form content, trending sounds, glamorous outfits, and eye-catching visuals. But once you start paying attention, a pattern begins to emerge. Almost every major boost in her online visibility came from content that crossed the line just enough to spark conversation, debates, and arguments. And the more she grew, the more obvious the pattern became. One of the earliest controversies that pushed her into the spotlight was her now infamous bodypaint gym stunt. Natalie walked into a public gym wearing nothing but blue painted-on leggings and a purple painted-on sports bra, over a nude swimsuit bottom and nipple covers. She called it a social experiment, but viewers saw through it immediately. It wasn't an experiment. It wasn't about art. And it definitely wasn't about making a meaningful point about public perception. The goal was simple: force a reaction. In the clip, a gym-goer approaches her, telling her that she needs to leave due to inappropriate attire. Natalie acts confused, pretending the painted clothes are realistic enough to count as a covered. She argues back and forth, dragging the confrontation out while filming the entire interaction. Eventually, the clip sparked massive backlash. While some viewers found it entertaining, many saw it as disrespectful, not just to the gym members, but to the staff who now had to enforce rules she was intentionally bending for attention. Another controversy that severely damaged her reputation involved a situation where she encouraged a vulnerable woman, described as homeless or disabled, to jump into a lake on camera. In the footage, the woman expresses hesitation, saying she's afraid of drowning and that her feet hurt. Instead of reassuring her or discouraging the dangerous behavior, Natalie continues to push her, laughing and acting as if it's all part of a fun challenge. The woman eventually jumps in and struggles, while Natalie films rather than helps.
We'll do rock, paper, scissors. If you go first, can you look for the scanner?
Scanner.
There's a scanner that you need to look for in the water.
Really?
Yeah.
What if I drown?
Then
I haven't been in the water. What is
you said you want to jump in.
I do kind of want to jump in. Huh?
Oh.
This moment shocked viewers. Not just because of the stunt, but because of the lack of empathy behind it. It didn't look like harmless entertainment, it looked like someone exploiting a vulnerable stranger for content. And the video spread rapidly because people couldn't believe how casually Natalie treated the situation. Over time, her content became predictable: offensive jokes, staged pranks, extreme attention-seeking, and boundary-pushing moments that almost always made people uncomfortable. But the most defining aspect, the behavior people associate her with the most, wasn't the shock content. It was the copying. The copying didn't happen all at once.
Let's go see what's up with Lulu.
It developed quietly, steadily, and then suddenly became so obvious that audiences couldn't ignore it anymore. One of the first major creators she began to imitate was Brooke Monk, a TikTok star known for her wholesome, clean girl aesthetic. Brooke posts light-hearted content with soft lighting, simple transitions, gentle humor, and minimal drama, the complete opposite of Natalie's typical style. But that didn't stop Natalie from trying to replicate it. Her outfits became similar. Her poses shifted. Her facial expressions mimic Brooke's. Even the angles, the exact way Brooke framed her shots, began appearing on Natalie's page. At first, people tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was following a trend. Maybe it was a coincidence. But then viewers began making side-by-side comparisons, and the similarities were undeniable. What made it even stranger was her interaction with Brooke's boyfriend. Natalie reposted edits of him, used his photos in the background of her videos, and made jokes referencing Brooke's relationship. It crossed the line from imitation into obsession, at least in the eyes of viewers. Comment sections flooded with people pointing out the similarities, asking why she kept copying someone who clearly had a very different brand and audience. But the pattern didn't stop with Brooke Monk. Whenever Natalie's views dipped, she didn't innovate. She didn't experiment with new styles or ideas. Instead, she chose a new creator to mirror. Tyler Vitelli, Leah Holton. Small creators. Medium creators. Anyone whose content went viral. She took their editing styles, props, audio choices, angles, and timing, sometimes word for word, frame for frame, and inserted herself into it. By 2024, the pattern was so consistent that people began predicting it. And that predictability is exactly why her latest copying accusation, copying Sophie Silva, exploded so quickly. Because Sophie Silva isn't just any creator. Her style is instantly recognizable. Sophie has over 5 million followers on TikTok and 3 million subscribers on YouTube, and she is known for her character transformations, Halloween-themed videos, cosplay looks, and high-quality cinematic editing. Her videos are bright, colorful, clean, and polished. Her editing is smooth and deliberate. Her transitions are distinct. And her personality is calm, sweet, and non-dramatic. She avoids conflict entirely. She is the kind of creator viewers feel protective over because she isn't messy, she isn't problematic, and she isn't trying to provoke anyone. She posts her content, interacts with fans, and stays out of chaos. Which is exactly why, when Natalie suddenly shifted her content to match Sophie's, audiences reacted instantly. There was no slow build-up. No progression from inspiration to copying. Natalie went straight into shot-for-shot recreations of Sophie's most iconic concepts. The same costumes. The same transformation style. The same transition pacing. Even the same camera movements. Viewers began stitching the two videos side by side, showing how Natalie replicated everything with almost eerie precision. And now it has been noted that Natalie has been talking to herself in the comments. And not gonna lie, it's disturbing. That's it for today. Have an amazing day, guys.